You survived the first vlog, so you want to be a writer if. Well, that's good news. It is awesome to see that you are hardworking and you're dedicated and you're disciplined. That's awesome. Please like, please subscribe, and please connect with me on my socials, the links of which are below. And it would be fantastic if I could get to meet you all, even if virtually. I was a communications professor full time for 12 years. And so, once you're a teacher, you are always a teacher. So, of course, I am eager to meet my new students. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck does that woman have on? Well, this is one of my favorite caftans. It's got birds on it. I don't know if you can see, and all kinds of botanical things. Can you see let's see if I have a butterfly somewhere around here. I don't know, but I just adore this caftan. It always makes me feel like an empress. Of course, I'm a single mom of 4, and every single parent is an empress or an emperor. I truly believe that. In fact, my sister and I went to a madrigal last December, and they introduced all of us as we were coming in. And they said, "This is Lady," and then they rattled off my real name. And I said, "Hey, I'm a single mother. That makes me at least a queen." And I just thought we'd laugh about it because I wasn't trying to make a big deal out of it. I was just teasing. But, sure enough, the young man said, "And here we have Queen." And then he rattled off my real name. And that kind of made my day. So let's get into, all preamble aside, let us get into the stuff about writing that nobody tells you. So you may not want to be a writer if. Let me move this closer for this. Okay? All right. So you have written a book. I am here to say congratulations. Problem is, I have a lot more to tell you about writing stuff that nobody will tell you. You may have caught the first part of my work on this topic. And if you haven't, please check out the first part of this vlog about the things nobody will tell you about writing. Let's start off with perhaps what for some of you is going to be the most hurtful. Okay, so when you write a book, it is such a monumental achievement. You could be forgiven for thinking that your family or your spouse will be eager to read the book, praise you, and support you. No. I can't even count the number of books I have written, but my family hasn't read any of them. Not in talking to other writers, I've learned that this is not unusual. Apparently, this pretty much happens to everyone. So, for some people, that's really quite hurtful. And I think it's kind of something I've never really gotten used to, that if another family member has an accomplishment, everybody's expected to be all over it and learn everything they can. But write a book, and people are like, oh, that's nice. Oh, well. So the second thing, needless to say, that nobody tells you about writing is that it's probably not a good thing to tell anyone that you're actually going to be a writer. They will think you are crazy. Now, even now, after dedicating 4 decades of my life to writing and editing, my sister is still constantly trying to, and I have what I consider a fabulous job editing for Scribendi Incorporated. It's a Canadian company with really wonderful people, truly wonderful people. I'm kind of scared of my senior editor. He just knows everything, Brian. So Brian, don't QA me, Brian. I'm scared of you. No, he's a great guy. He truly is, but he knows everything. So I'm really happy to have this job as an editor. And through this whole COVID thing, it's been such a blessing, since a lot of our work comes from overseas. My work continued. Actually, I logged some of my record earnings. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be bragging or anything like that. It's just I'm trying to be honest with you and just tell you like it is. Okay? So I'm happy to have my job as an editor. But my sister still constantly tries to get me to be a teacher. Every day, pretty much every time I see her. So this is where you are going to earn a writer's reputation for being visionaries. Turns out the first vision you need to see is that if you are willing to write every day and persist and be dedicated and not give up, then you can be a writer. Hard work trumps talent every single time. It also helps to find a mentor or a critique group that will support you. That brings us to the last but worst, which is that as a writer, you are constantly going to get slammed by rejections. I know of one writer who, back in the day when all writing business was conducted via snail mail, I know a guy who wallpapered his room with rejection letters. And he didn't stop until he got his first acceptance. And then after that, he'd sort of broken through. Well, but it's not just from publishing companies or agents, although there's going to be a lot of that. You will get constantly by peers, by critics, by bloggers and vloggers, and so on. Now, if you've worked hard, and you will, if you've made it this far, if you worked hard, it is really hard to see less talented writers get published and sell a ton of copies while you are still struggling to get an acceptance and sell your first book. So what you really have to do is tell yourself, hey, this is show business. My job is no different from a Hollywood actor who goes out for 10 auditions and maybe only gets one job. So you can tell yourself when you get a rejection, well, that's show business and just forget about it. Or you can tell yourself, well, I'm one rejection closer. I'm one no closer to finding a yes. All right. So this is why it is such a good idea for you to be a stringer or a freelancer for a newspaper, no matter how small, because even though you may not make a ton of money, what I earned back in the day, 30 cents a column inch. So that's like this much. So I had to write a lot to make any money at all. But nevertheless, you will find it is worth it. It's worth it to see your byline. People will compliment you. You'll be getting experience. You'll be getting your name out. And so I think it is absolutely worth it, even if you don't make a dime. Now, I think the last thing, now this is going to be honorable mention. To make it as a writer, you have to revise, revise, revise. Absolutely nobody writes a book, or at least not a very good one, on their first draft. So you will have to revise your manuscript several times at the very least. That also means that, yes, you have to keep writing. In a later blog, I will tell you why there is no such thing as writer's block. And I don't believe, after all these decades, I truly don't believe it is. I think it is a mental construct that people use. But I think we will only need to spend a very short amount of time really examining writer's block to learn that it's not real. Okay, so subscribe and you'll get notified. Ring the little bell and you will get notified of when I upload that vlog. So, but long story short, when you sit down to write, I want your fingers to be flying. There's no excuse for procrastination or saying you don't have ideas. You can, you will train your mind to create on command. But we're going to go into more of that later. However, it sort of overlaps into this topic as well. I hope I haven't discouraged you, but these stereotypes are prevalent enough that we need to address them. You can never give up on writing or submitting. Even very famous celeb authors get rejected and receive criticism. And of course, you have to learn how to take the compliments and the criticism both gracefully, equally gracefully. Because if you've made it this far in my How to Be a Writer vlogs, then I think it's safe. We can call you an artist. I know I call myself an artist. And so we are teaching you your craft. We're teaching you your art. Isn't it, doesn't it sound pretentious when actors say that? However, just even the act of naming a character makes writing an art. So I hope you all will forgive me if I claim that you and I are both artists. So never give up. This can be a very, very fulfilling pastime for you, no matter what level you do it at. So please comment below how you deal with rejection, remembering that writers always help each other. So happy writing, happy editing, and have a great day.